The cars are getting ready to go out in the second race for the Toyo Tires Porsche Championship. Richard Avery starts on pole position in the boxes, but Gavin Johnson is leading at the 924 class. Now, he won yesterday's race and could wrap up the title in this race if a certain set of circumstances go his way. Now, Gavin, the circumstances that you need to win the championship in this race is a win, fastest lap, and Hugh needs to finish lower than third. Is that right?
That's correct, yeah. If that happens in this race, I'll be delighted. It'll make for a fun race 3. But yeah, that's what we need. I'm certainly going for the win. I can't control Hugh. I'll try and win the race I did yesterday, and we'll go from there.
We spoke yesterday about some, that the car was feeling really good. Did you get a good night's sleep? And are you ready and set for what's going to be an exciting race out there?
Yeah, I couldn't be happy, to be fair. Car's brilliant. I feel good. Sun's shining. All the team are here with us. So that's brilliant. Made up there, all here. Yeah, just all set. Just want to get out there now.
Well, we wish you all the best of luck out there, and we look forward to speaking to you after the race.
Thank you.
With that, it's over to Jake Sanson to take you through all of the action.
Thanks, Lloyd, and there is going to be action in this one. Richard Avery and Gary Lawrence on the front of the grid. Toby Smales and Lee Bowden on the second row from Kevin Molyneux and Kevin Ludford. Matthew Harris, James Coleman, Ed Hayes, Adam Southgate and Rick Styron. 3 champions together, 9th, 10th and 11th. Gavin Johnson and David Jones, Hugh Pert and Gary Campbell in the 924s. Chris Valentine, Peter Osgerby and John Jeffrey. Now, the big news from race 1 to race 2 is the absence of 2 drivers. Sadly, we've lost Andrew Porter and Gary Goodwin. They've both had to withdraw due to technical difficulties from race 1. Plenty of on-board cameras from this one. And of course, as you can see, there are a lot of drivers out of position, so we're going to have a really exciting race for this one. Richard Avery and Gary Lawrence will be on the front of the grid. Toby Smales alongside Lee Bowden on the second row. For Gavin Johnson, it's still a championship assault. Here we go! Race 2 at Donington. Charging for the first corner. Look at the starts from Rick Styron, Adam Southgate, and Adam Southgate's gone wide onto the grass. Had to get out of the throttle there. Rick Styron's had a good start. So too is Ed Hayes. James Coleman trying to make progress as well. Kevin Molyneux's borrowed the front bumper of Andrew Porter by the look of it. As Ed Hayes is now battling away with Toby Smales for P3 round the outside of the Craner curves. Can he get there to the inside line for the left-hander? Not quite. So Avery leads the way. Second is Lawrence. Third is Smales. Fourth is Hayes. Fifth is Styron. And sixth is Kevin Molyneux as they go through the old hairpin for the first time in race 2. Then it's Coleman. Ludford has been overtaken by Southgate round the inside. And Gavin Johnson is chasing after a smoking David Jones. I hope that's not going to turn into a mechanical problem, because it looks to me as though that's smoking a little bit more than usual as Hayes knits up the inside and gets past Toby Smales. Styron's going to try the same trick as they come out of McLean's up the hill and into Coppice. Is he going to get through to the inside? Yes, he does. Lovely jubbly from Styron, and Molyneux knits through on the inside as well. Back on board with Johnson into Coppice. Battle of the 924s at the front end. David Jones trying to stay with the tail end Charlie of the field at the moment. And Hayes is battling with Styron, Molyneux and Smales as they go into the braking zone. Now you can see there's cement dust left from an oil droppage into that chicane, so that could be a bit of an issue for the drivers as they battle away. Styron is side by side down the straight for third position with Ed Hayes, 2016 champion versus 2017 champion, and Styron is waving at Ed Hayes. What is he going to do? He's going to let him go, but Styron's going to keep the car around to the outside. Plenty of curb used. Molyneux down the inside of Styron to try and take fourth position. Is there going to be enough room for them all to negotiate as Styron keeps the pace up and dives for the inside of the Craner curves? Styron through to third position. Good move there from Rick. He's lost none of his flair, none of his speed, and everybody on this grid is rather hoping he doesn't do a full-time campaign again. Oh, and a big moment there as Ed Hayes flicks the bollard on the way out through the Starkey's Bridge turn. And that's going to cause a bit of an issue on the front left. But Hayes has got Molyneux right underneath him as they battle for fourth place. James Coleman, meanwhile, and Adam Southgate are both trying to get up the inside of Toby Smales. I think certainly Coleman managed it. Did Southgate as well. We'll have to drop back in a minute and have a look, but Ed Hayes is chasing after Rick Styron in the battle for third position again. Southgate did get past Smales in that manoeuvre, so Coleman up to 6th and Southgate up to 7th. Well, this is a very dramatic end to the season for the championship contenders, and certainly the big names returning to the championship. Avery, Southgate, well, sorry, I should say Avery, Styron and Hayes. Southgate is there battling his way through. Richard Avery leads the race. Lawrence in 2nd, Styron 3rd, Hayes 4th. Molyneux trying to come around the outside in 5th. 6th place Coleman, 7th place Southgate. Can we have these drivers in the field all season long in 2019, please? I want a full capacity grid for the 2019 season. It's great to see them all back for a season finale, but it's like the best of the rest of the Toyo Tires Porsche Championship, and for good measure, actually, throw Stephen Potts into the mix as well. And while we're at it, why not have a couple of the other champions through as well? Oh, a big moment there. 2 cars going off. Adam Southgate going off on the grass. Well, that's his first major mistake of the weekend then. Adam Southgate going off of the old hairpin. A couple of other drivers going wide as well. Molyneux had a little bit of a moment, and Coleman had to react to it. Southgate remains in 7th position, just loses a few car lengths in the process, basically. So a big moment now as Styron gets on the inside of Gary Lawrence. Has he got the momentum off the turn? He's driving very well indeed. Can he get the speed? Can he get the motion up the inside? We're on board with Lawrence. Are we about to see Styron overtake? Yes, we are. Beats him to the braking zone, into Goddard's. And that is Rick Styron up into 2nd position, I believe. So now he's chasing after Richard Avery. Is Styron going to get a victory on his comeback? He's certainly going to have to fight for it. It's not going to be very easy to get the job done. He's going to have to work very hard indeed, whatever happens. Out in front, Richard Avery is your leader, Rick Styron in 2nd. Meanwhile, the 924s, this is the battle. David Jones leads, Gavin Johnson 2nd, Hugh Pert 3rd. 1, 2 and 3. The Scarlet Machine is David Jones. The navy blue is Gavin Johnson. The baby blue is Hugh Pert. And they come over the start-finish line once again. So Johnson, all he has to do is win this race, get fastest lap, and see Hugh Pert lower than 3rd. I think, looking at the way things currently are, he's going to have to wait, because Pert is unlikely to finish lower than 3rd if anything keeps going the way it is. So Johnson is there in 2nd. He'd need to overtake David Jones and see Hugh Pert drop out of the top 3. So I think he's going to have to wait until the last race of the weekend and the last race of the season. David Jones goes a little bit deep into the old hairpin. This could be Gavin Johnson's chance. He goes around the outside, up through Starkey's Bridge. And now they're going to come up to Schwartz Curve. If Gavin Johnson keeps the floor permanently planted, he might get an opportunity. David Jones is going to try and chop across, though, and holds the place. So for the moment, at least, Gavin Johnson's going to have to wait for his moment. Here he comes again. Up the inside to Coppice. Is this going to be the move? He's definitely close enough. But again, Gavin Johnson doesn't want to risk anything. David Jones runs out wide. Surely Gavin Johnson's going to get the undercut through Coppice corner and down Starkey Straight. They will pass the Donington Grand Prix collection. Get there before November the 5th or you'll never go again. And here comes Gavin Johnson to the inside. David Jones has still got good speed. I think he's going to have to back out of it, and he does. So a really good challenge from Hugh Pert behind as well. He wants to win the title, but he's got to beat Gavin Johnson to do it. Johnson still pushing in behind David Jones. Great little battle as Kevin Ludford comes up towards us at Redgate in the Porsche Boxster. But Jones versus Johnson versus Pert is the battle at the moment. And David Jones is hanging on in front of Gavin Johnson. Gavin Johnson so close to getting the title won. It's been an amazing transition to the PDC racing team and to great racing in the Toyo Tires Porsche Championship. This will be an emotional moment if Gavin Johnson can get the job done, but he's still got over a race and a half to do to get the job done, and it's always very tight indeed in the Toyo Tires Porsche Championship, and he'll be pushing harder than he's ever pushed before. But he's also got to be very conservative. He doesn't want to be too aggressive. He knows that the championship can be thrown away here, and there'll be all sorts of catalogues of bad memories where things have gone terribly wrong. Rockingham 2017 springs to mind when he was on course to win his first race, and the rain shower came down at exactly the wrong moment. He'll be keeping that at the very back of his mind. Gavin Johnson now on the back of David Jones. He's got another good run. Slotting behind him, Gavin. It's going to be better for you. Mind you, if there's still that steam pouring off David Jones's car, if if that's moisture, that could cause a bit of an issue for Gavin Johnson under braking. So maybe he doesn't want to follow in him too close behind in the slipstream, because that could compromise him long term. On board with Ed Hayes, dives up the inside of Gary Lawrence last minute into McLean's. Good move from Ed Hayes. That's why he's the 2017 champion. That's his quality. Very good work indeed there from Ed. And it's good to see him back. So now the drivers continue on their way, pushing hard as they drop down the Craner curves once again. A really strong run at the moment. Fastest lap of the race, Adam Southgate, a 1:18.882 as he continues his charge forward. Richard Avery, still your race leader at the moment. There is the battle for the 924s. Still all the focus on these guys as the championship fight is still to be won. Gavin Johnson really underneath David Jones now as they come up towards Schwantz Curve. Can he get alongside? No, not yet. He has to hang back. David Jones is going to be very ultra defensive into McLean's. Gavin Johnson can roll off the power and get a better run up towards Coppice, and he is swarming around behind David Jones. Jones is defending for dear life here to try and hang on to the lead. Gavin Johnson is pushing hard in behind. Hugh Pert is right behind him, so he needs to find a way through sooner rather than later. Otherwise, he's a sitting target to Hugh Pert. Look at David Jones squeezing Gavin Johnson just enough to ensure that there's no way through to the inside, but he knows that David Jones needs to come back to the left side of the circuit for the right-hander turn-in at Goddard's so he can set him up for a good exit. There's Hugh Pert, third position, just waiting for a way to come through. If those two tangle, then the championship fight really does transform. So he's got to be patient, but Gavin Johnson's not waiting around. Here he goes, up towards Redgate. Is he going to draw alongside? Not enough. David Jones chops across him again. Gavin Johnson's really having to roll his sleeves up here to overtake David Jones. This is exactly what we wanted. A great season finale for the 924 battle. And it is going to continue all the way to the death, probably at the end of race 3 as well, the way things are currently looking. Gavin Johnson did beat David Jones in race 1. Can he do it in race 2? He's got to work hard out of the old hairpin. He's got a faster line through Starkey's Bridge, up to Schwantz Curve. Gavin Johnson trying to keep the car to the left side. Ready for the right-hander at McLean's. In they go. Not quite going to get the move done there, but he's now going to try and get a move on the exit up towards Coppice. He has got a faster line. Surely this is going to be the moment of truth for Gavin Johnson. He dives for the inside at Coppice. He's going to have to make this work all the way down the straight as well. They are side by side. David Jones is not letting him have it. Gavin Johnson still pushing hard. Side by side. Not quite able to get on the inside line. Will he break later? Is this going to be Gavin Johnson's chance? No, don't risk it, Gavin. He slots back into second, and Hugh Pert, he's beaming from ear to ear. He's under pressure, not me. Gavin Johnson still pushing David Jones as they go down the Wheatcroft straight once again. Great racing in the championship battle for the 924 title fight. David Jones trying to get away from Gavin Johnson and Hugh Pert and run his own race. He just wants to win here at Donington Park. He's not interested in the points battle at all. Gavin Johnson still pushing on. Tucked up beneath David Jones as they go through the Craner curves, through the right, through the left. One of those bollards has ended up in the middle of the circuit. That could cause a bit of an issue for someone. David Jones still leads Gavin Johnson. Hugh Pert's actually dropped back a couple of car lengths. I wonder if that is strategic, because if these two continue to get close together, they could end up wiping each other out. And if Hugh Pert is far enough back that he can take avoiding action, he could pick up the win. Hugh Pert knows that a win is the only way, really. He's going to keep the title fight alive to the third race. Well, third position would do it, especially if Johnson is second. But even if Gavin Johnson were to pass David Jones and get the fastest lap of the race and win, he would not quite seal the title until race 3 if Hugh Pert is in third position. He would have to drop to fourth. David Jones defends again. Gavin Johnson's got him on the run. In the slipstream, he's not quite going to be close enough again under brakes for Goddard's. He's just trying to bide his time and take it nice and easy. Now, there's a big pressure cooker building behind them because the Porsche Boxsters are chasing them down. They are starting to get closer to them. So it might not be too long before we see a couple of big moments from Johnson as the race leaders in the Boxsters lap them, but he is going to have another go into Redgate. This time, no. David Jones chops across again. Take it nice and steady, Gavin. You've got loads of time. Tries to come back off the exit of Redgate through Hollywood. And now dropping through the Craner curves again. Gavin Johnson pushing very hard here, trying to get the win away from David Jones. Another win would get the job done if Hugh Pert slipped to 4th position. But it's not done and dusted yet, and Hugh Pert is staying with these two. Here comes Gavin Johnson again, sweeping round the outside. Can he keep the speed all the way round the outside? David Jones not leaving him a lot of room. Gavin Johnson needed to commit if he wanted to get the move there on David Jones. Jones, puff of smoke under braking for McLean's. Gavin Johnson might get him on the switchback here. David Jones trying to chop across to stop Gavin Johnson coming through, but Johnson's got perfect momentum into Coppice. Surely this is going to be the moment now. Still side by side. And we've seen time and time again when Jones has been side by side with Johnson down the Snarky Straight, all he's got to do is line up the braking zone for Goddard's and the job is done. But they are still door to door. Hugh Pert is hanging back just in case. Go on, Gavin, get in there, son. Not quite. David Jones chops across round the outside. Oh, this is brilliant. Great racing in the final weekend of the championship, and it's going to go to the wire. Look back, though. There is Richard Avery, race leader, being caught by Rick Styron, with Ed Hayes in 3rd and Adam Southgate in 4th. So they are closing. Gavin Johnson still trying to find a way past David Jones. He may need to just, along with Hugh Pert, let the Porsche Boxsters come by. The full fat Boxsters come through. Plenty of grunt, plenty of mechanical grip. They'll need to come by. Hugh Pert has already done so. Let the leader go. So Gavin Johnson and David Jones are going to need to do the same thing. But if Gavin Johnson is smart, he can time this right, let Avery and Styrie go by, and he should be able to get a run on David Jones. He's going to try another trick to go and get the move. Avery's going to sweep right round the outside of them. Plenty of grip on that outside line as he sweeps through and laps them both. Gavin Johnson just watches to see what happens. He's got to let Rick Styron go. Now Rick Styron's going to make the move on David Jones into Coppice. Now Jones has got to get on the brakes. Styron sweeps by. If Gavin Johnson can carry more speed, he may get a run into Goddard's. That's what he's banking on. Down the back straight. David Jones seems to be all right for the moment. Actually, they may have to wait now for Adam Southgate to come through. Southgate is on his own in 3rd position. Where is Ed Hayes? What has happened to Hayes? Suddenly, Ed Hayes has backed off and he's not in 3rd position anymore. Has he got a problem? Well, Ed Hayes has disappeared from the fray. He was in 3rd position. There he is. He's peeling off into the pits. Ed Hayes is coming into the pits. So again, the 2017 champion looks as though he's coming in to retire. Another devastating end to his race. That's going to promote James Coleman up into 4th position in front of Gary Lawrence and Kevin Molyneux. But disaster for Ed Hayes as he retires yet again, just as he did yesterday. And now he's out of the race again as Adam Southgate now knits his way through the 924s. Oh, Southgate's gone off! He tries to lap them, and that's broken something. That has definitely broken something. Adam Southgate spins across the circuit, back onto the circuit. Molyneux just misses him. Well, that has definitely broken the car in a big, big way. Adam, you need to get out of there quickly. He's trying to drive the car up to a marshal's post, because then, of course, with the car smoking, they can put it out. So I know exactly what he's doing. He's trying to get the car to the nearest marshal's post, but he's going to have to bail out now. Adam, get out of the car, mate. I think he's just going to be able to park it next to the marshal's post where the fire extinguisher is. So I think he'll be all right. But that is a big moment for Adam Southgate, and his race is over too. So again, 2 major former champions. Well, Adam Southgate is the 2018 champion, so it's not really a former champion. But Ed Hayes was last year's champion. Rick Styron is the only champion on the grid left from the Porsche Boxsters. Let's watch this again. Southgate just lost the back end. Look, he got the bumper underneath the car, and the speed he hit the bump, that is what broke the car. Now, I'm not sure what that is that's broken the car. He then loses the car, and somehow Dolly Molly just sweeps by to the right-hand side, misses him. That was very close indeed. Meanwhile, we've got the leaders coming through on the 924s. Oh, and a little bit of a nudge there as James Coleman just taps David Jones as they go through. Molyneux's gone through, Lawrence has gone through, Coleman's gone through, and Johnson's got a chance now on David Jones. Go on, Gavin, this is your moment. Powering on the throttle, got to keep it round the outside. He is going to commit to the move this time. It might be his best chance. Into McLean's. He holds the inside line. David Jones is still in the lead, but Johnson's really fast through this point of the course. Can he get there and break just that millimetre or so later than David Jones. No! So tight between these two, he's going to need a better exit off Coppice. Now they're going to be side by side. He's running out of laps to get this done. Surely, he's got to do it now. Up on the inside. Is he going to get through? Not yet. We're running out of laps for Avery and Styron up front. And these two are going to have to push really hard indeed. I think we've got no more than 2 laps to go, and Gavin Johnson's got to try and get this move done on David Jones now. He draws up alongside him, but he's been sent to the left side of the circuit, up towards Redgate. Can he carry the speed all the way round the outside? He can brake a little bit later, but what he does do, in fact, is brake a little earlier. Then he gets the switch back for the inside line. David Jones knows it's coming, but Johnson's unable to get on the inside. This is so frustrating for Gavin Johnson. Come on, man. You can do it. Through the crane of curves, dropping down into the right-hander for the old hairpin. David Jones a little bit more cautious on the brakes. He locks up. Is this going to be the moment for Gavin Johnson? He darts to the right-hand side. He's going to sweep around Starkey's Bridge, round Schwartz Curve. Surely this is it now. Keep the power on. A flick of the dust from Gavin Johnson, from David Jones, sorry. And now Johnson on the inside through McLean's. Is that job done? Yes, it is. At last. He's made the gap and made it through. Well, that was tight as you like for Gavin Johnson. And now that he's in front of David Jones, surely in the last lap and a half of the race, he will start to pull away. But Gavin Johnson has made this a very tough mission, but he knew that he couldn't afford to get into a war with David Jones. He certainly couldn't afford to get into the side of him. So he needed to time that one to absolute perfection. And now Gavin Johnson goes into his last lap of race 2. And Gavin Johnson is going to have to try and hang on here in front of David Jones. And the man behind Hugh Pert is still there in 3rd position. So even if Gavin Johnson were to now set the fastest lap of the race and win, Hugh Pert would still take the title to the 3rd and final race of the weekend and the last race of the season, because 3rd position would be enough to keep his hopes alive into the last race. As Dolly Molly spins at the old hairpin, Kevin Molyneux has gone around, manages to get the car going again. But that is a bit of an awkward moment in front of the 924 leaders. So Kevin Molyneux drops back to, what is that now? He'll be behind Coleman and Lawrence now. He was in front of them. And James Coleman is all over the back of Gary Lawrence, trying to find a way through for 3rd position. There is Richard Avery. Richard Avery's going to try and make his lunge. He's got the victory done. Absolutely brilliant performance there from Richard Avery. He takes the victory. And interestingly, Rick Styron, right behind him, is going to pick up 2 time penalties. So he will just about, I think, hang on for 2nd place. He's got a penalty for exceeding track limits and a 10-second penalty for a false start. James Coleman is going to beat Gary Lawrence to the line, only just. There is Kevin Molyneux in front in 5th position. But importantly, this man, Gavin Johnson, has taken a 2nd victory in the 924s. He comes over the line. It's 2 wins out of 2 so far this weekend for Gavin Johnson. So nearly there as the champion. And he sets the fastest lap of the race on the last lap. Avery wins from Styron, Coleman, Lawrence and Molyneux in the Boxsters, from Lee Bowden, Matthew Harris and Kevin Ludford, with Adam Southgate and Ed Hayes retiring again. Southgate picks up the fastest lap. Toby Smales retired from the race as well early on. In the 924s, Gavin Johnson picks up his 2nd victory of the weekend in front of David Jones and Hugh Pert. Campbell, Valentine, Jeffrey and Oscarby finish up. Johnson fastest lap, but with Pert in 3rd, the title goes on to the season finale.
Gav, first on the road, but might not be. We'll see how that goes. Not quite enough to clinch the championship at the moment, but it's one hand on the title.
Yeah, it's closer. You know, we're closer, and we expected to do the 3 races. Doing 2 would have been a bonus. I think it was a win. We'll wait and see, but I'm pretty sure it was. Dave defended really well. I've said before, he's a great driver. I had the pace, I think, on him today, but he just defended well. So what can you do? But we got there in the end. Really happy to win. Tough race. Enjoyed it.
Yeah, lots going on in that race. Hugh was quite close to you at the beginning and then seemed to back off. Did you feel any pressure from Hugh, or were you just concentrating on overtaking Dave?
Yeah, I was aware of Hugh. I defended a couple of times to make sure he didn't make a lunge. But again, he's a clean driver, he's quick, and I don't think he does anything daft generally. But yeah, I was thinking about getting past Dave, to be honest, and I felt if I got beyond, I could move away, and I did so towards the end of the race. So yeah, that's what it was about.
Reverse grid for the last race. What can you do?
Well, I can win, I think. I've had the pace all weekend. I've set that record and I got fastest lap in that race, so forgive the narcissism, but I'm quick today. And yeah, I think I can win the race. I'm hopeful I can.
Look forward to seeing you out there. Congratulations once again.
Thank you. Cheers. 2
wins out of 2 this weekend. Can you make it a hat-trick?
I'm hoping so. Only trouble is, like, we got reverse grid on the last one, so there's a lot more work to do. Although Rick started at the back of the grid, managed to get through, so you never know. I'll be trying my best for it. You know, good thing is that race, keeping Rick off of you, you know, he is the man to beat, to be fair. Everyone knows that in our championship, and to get it nice and clean like that, it was good fun, so yeah.